boy said he's the weakest human on earth, but the glasses he wears are as heavy as 1,000 pounds. Every step he takes can shatter concrete. It turns out the boy inherited the strongest bloodline from his parents. When he says he's weak, he means he can't control his strength. A little effort from him could destroy anything. But despite his power, he gets bullied and extorted every day at school. And when beaten, he even apologizes to the bullies. Ming Hao wanted his son to continue the family legacy, so he finally decided to send Zhishen to school this year. Before leaving, Ming Hao warned him repeatedly, "Don't get involved with anyone at school." But as soon as Zhishen stepped into the gate, 2 school bullies blocked his way. They called themselves the Justice Warriors of the school, and offered to help the new kid Zhishen. But their idea of help is demanding money. But the only valuable thing was the shoes on him. Seeing his refusal, one bully decided to give him a warning punch. But then they spotted a stuffed toy in Zhishen's bag. They never imagined that toy was Zhishen's most treasured possession. Suddenly Zhishen grabbed the bald bully's wrist. He calmly asked them to return the toy, but as his emotions swelled, his body grew larger. The sight scared the bald bully, leaving him frozen. Still determined to keep his reputation, the bully swung at Zhishen with all his strength. But Zhishen didn't flinch. His focus remained on the stuffed toy. To avoid damaging it, Zhishen carefully punched the bully's shoulder. As the toy slipped from the bully's hand, Zhishen swiftly pulled out a cushion. He caught the toy mid-air perfectly unharmed. The bald bully was fuming with rage. He refused to back down. Seizing an opportunity, he charged forward. But before he could land a punch, Zhishen blocked it effortlessly. With a flick, he sent the bully flying through the air. The other bully, frozen with fear, wet himself. Once the danger was gone, Zhishen headed to his classroom. The homeroom teacher asked him to introduce himself, hoping he'd blend in easily. Everyone expected him to be shy, but instead Zhishen struck a dramatic pose. "I am Zhishen, the weakest human on earth. Nice to meet you all. I don't mind if you look down on me. After all, I was born ordinary." His introduction left the whole class bewildered. They weren't in a classroom. They might have thought Zhishen escaped from a mental ward. At that moment, a red-haired girl in the back of the class called out to Zhishen. She asked if he had a weird obsession since he carried a stuffed toy around. But the naive Zhishen didn't catch the sarcasm in her words. Instead, he proudly introduced the toy. "This is Kim Min-A. She's my childhood friend." Hearing this, the red-haired girl was dumbfounded. She silently vowed to teach this newcomer a lesson. When class ended, the real Kim Min-A found Zhishen. She demanded he hand over the doll that shared her name. Zhishen politely refused, but after her repeated demands, he finally snapped, shouting, "No matter who you are, you won't lay a finger on my Kim Min-A." Hearing this, Kim Min-A was covered in goosebumps. She grabbed Zhishen by his collar, ordering him to follow her. But as she pulled him, she was shocked. How could someone so skinny feel like a boulder? Soon, Zhishen found himself dragged to the girls' restroom. There she made him lie down in an awkward pose. Then she warned him, "If you don't want to get beaten up, you'd better rename that doll." Zhishen thought she was jealous, and firmly refused to do it. It wasn't until she said the doll shared her name that Zhishen realized what was going on. He tried to apologize, but her slap landed squarely on his face. The force made his glasses fall to the floor, creating a crater on impact. Without thinking, Zhishen blurted out, "Thank you." He was relieved that she hadn't broken her hand. This only made her feel humiliated. In her frustration, she kicked him repeatedly. Only when she was gasping for air did she realize something was wrong. Zhishen kept smiling, completely unhurt. Even seniors like Karami couldn't withstand her kicks. At most, someone might last 2 punches. Just then, the class president Han Min stepped in to stop the fight. Kim Min-A knew Han Min's strength well, so she reluctantly backed off. But Han Min's arrival wasn't a coincidence. The principal had instructed her before Zhishen even arrived. Han Min was tasked with protecting Zhishen until he could safely graduate from the school, because Zhishen was the child of a mafia boss and the world's strongest fighter. And if she succeeded, Han Min would receive a recommendation to a prestigious university. Even all her expenses during the period would be reimbursed. Although Han Min didn't want to get involved with them, the benefits were too good to pass up, so she accepted the principal's mission. From that point on, she stayed by Zhishen's side. Zhishen, confused by her behavior, decided to try to ditch her. He lied, saying he needed to use the bathroom. After all, he remembered his father's warning that morning. He must avoid unnecessary interactions with others. So he decided to escape through the window. But the noise from his jump was too loud, and Han Min quickly spotted him. Zhishen got up and ran as fast as he could. Han Min had no choice but to chase after him. Unbeknownst to them, someone who hated Han Min witnessed the chase. Seizing the chance for revenge, she hurled a bottle of drink at Han Min. Fortunately, Ji Shen noticed the danger. He crouched down, muscles tensing. In an instant his leg muscles bulged. He leapt backward in one fluid motion. The force of his jump was so strong. His shoe soles ripped open. Despite the awkward landing, he managed to catch the bottle, saving Han Min's life. Han Min stood there stunned by Ji Shen's incredible move. How can someone who can jump over 10 meters need protection from the principal? She needed to get answers. Meanwhile, the red-haired bully visited his injured friend, the bald one. During a break between classes, suddenly a large hand landed on his shoulder. It was Yang Jian, their leader, the top-ranked fighter in the school. Looking at his two battered subordinates, he demanded, "Who did this to you?" The red-haired bully broke out in a cold sweat. He wanted to tell the truth, but Ji Shen's backers had already issued a warning. "If you dare tell anyone what happened today, you won't live to see the sunrise." Seeing the red-haired bully stay silent, Yang Jian lifted him off the ground. "Are you ignoring what I just said? Speak. Who did this?" At that moment, the bald bully, still half-conscious, muttered weakly, "Kim Min-a." So terrifying. Hearing this, Yang Jian's veins bulged with anger. He immediately sent 2 lackeys to summon Kim Min-a. "If you don't want to get beaten in class, you better show up on the rooftop in 10 minutes. But before they could finish speaking, Kim Min-a suddenly appeared behind one of them. She slammed his head into the floor. "Next time don't act so cocky. I'll meet you on the rooftop." Meanwhile, Yang Jian was on the rooftop warming up with the red-haired bully. He was determined to restore his reputation. If he didn't, how could he remain their leader? The red-haired bully tried to explain. "The Kim Min-a, the bald one mentioned, is just a doll's name." But before he could finish, the rooftop door swung open. Yang Jian saw Kim Min-a and demanded, "Did you hurt the bald and red-haired bullies?" Kim Min-a was confused. "I fought so many people. But what can they do about it?" She didn't wait for a response and threw the first punch. Even though her punch landed, Yang Jian used the momentum to spin his body 180 degrees. He followed up with a scissor kick, locking her in place. One more move, and he could cripple her instantly. In the end he held back. Adjusting his hat and tightening the strap, he said, "With a pretty face like yours, you should fight the way I do." On their way back to class, Yang Jian asked the red-haired bully again, "Who really beat you guys?" Yang Jian knew from the start that Kim Min-a wasn't the culprit. The red-haired bully's evasive behavior gave it away. He deduced that someone else had done it. As they walked, Ji Shen suddenly appeared in their path. The red-haired bully was terrified. Was the truth about to come out? Fortunately, Yang Jian only assumed that Ji Shen, being new, didn't know the rules. He warned Ji Shen, "Next time be a good dog and stay out of the way. I run this area as the strongest bully around here." Just after Ji Shen left, another troublemaker appeared. His name was Deli, a follower of Han Min. He approached Ji Shen to question him. "Why are you always with Han Min?" But how could Ji Shen know? He had been confused all day. Deli looked at Ji Shen's innocent expression, and concluded that there was nothing going on between them. But just as he was about to leave, he grabbed Ji Shen's stuffed toy. He mocked, "This thing is outdated. Not worth carrying around every day." Before he could finish his sentence, Ji Shen tightly gripped his wrist. In that instant, Deli froze in fear, not daring to breathe. He felt as if he was facing a wild beast ready to explode. Panicking, he said it was just a joke, and quickly returned the toy. Looking at his bruised wrist, Deli began to wonder about Ji Shen's origins. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Ji Shen's mother Ruha dressed up for a day out. But since she hadn't exercised much postpartum, she accidentally broke the mall's entrance door. Thankfully, the security guards knew who she was and didn't give her trouble. They still asked her to pay for the damages. After all, they had to report it to their superiors. Ruha then went to a sneaker store. She asked if they had ultra-durable sneakers. Her son needed new ones all the time. Seeing a big spender, the staff gave her VIP treatment. They brought out the store's most expensive celebrity-endorsed shoes. Ruha thought they were pricey, but she bought them anyway, wanting her son to be comfortable at school. Before she left, the clerk complimented her. "You're such a great dad." This comment made Ruha furious. Standing still, she stomped a hole into the floor, but she managed to hold back her anger, leaving with the shoes. When she got home, she anxiously waited for her son to return from school. She kept calling her husband Ming Hao, urging him to send more men to watch over Ji Shen. "If our son loses control," she warned, "no one on earth will be able to stop him." Soon Ji Shen returned home from school. Ruha anxiously asked, "How was your first day at school?" Ji Shen said everything went well. He hoped he'd be allowed to keep going to school. Although satisfied with his answer, Ruha still felt uneasy. Then she noticed something strange. Shi Shen's expression had suddenly darkened. Seeing his shoes already ruined from one day, Ruha's mood began to deteriorate, but she remembered how she had scarred his childhood years ago, and managed to calm herself down. She handed Ji Shen the new shoes she bought. However, even after he left, she still couldn't say what was truly on her mind. The next morning Ji Shen returned to school. To his surprise, Han Min had moved his desk next to his. Shi Shen shrugged it off thinking, "Doesn't really matter to me, as long as I can focus on my studies." But after staring at his workbook for 2 minutes, he realized he couldn't solve a single problem. Seeing this, Han Min decided to tutor him. But this act drew mockery from the girls in class. "Han Min, did you get water in your brain yesterday? Helping someone with their homework? Why not help us too while you're at it?" They burst into laughter, but Han Min ignored them. He was used to their taunts. However, when the girls started chatting with Ji Shen, he politely told them to back off. "The tutoring is part of the principal's orders. This is the best way I can protect him." The truth was Han Min had gone to the principal's office the previous day, reporting Ji Shen's strange behavior. Principal admitted he had limited information, but one thing was certain: Ji Shen shouldn't interact too much with others. His powerful backers had warned the principal, if things went wrong, Ji Shen could bring disaster to the school. After the girls left, Deli showed up again. He was curious why Han Min was sitting with Ji Shen. Han Min warned him to mind his own business and leave. Deli reluctantly gave up, but he shifted his focus to Ji Shen. With a sly grin he greeted him. "Hello there, I'm the guy you met at the sink yesterday." Just as Deli reached out to shake Ji Shen's hand, Han Min stabbed the pen toward him. "I told you to get lost. Didn't you hear me?" But Deli was even more curious now. What was so special about Ji Shen? Or maybe, was Han Min gaining something forbidden by sticking close to him? At that moment Han Min lost his patience. He grabbed Deli by the collar. But just as his punch was about to land, Ji Shen suddenly shouted, "Stop, someone might get hurt." This made Deli believe Ji Shen was just a naive fool. He thought he had been overthinking things before. During lunch, Han Min continued to stick close to Ji Shen. Suddenly, a plate of curry was dumped all over Ji Shen's clothes. It was Yang Jian's 2 lackeys who had done it. Before they could say anything, Ji Shen apologized first. "Sorry, I was sitting too close to the aisle." Han Min wanted to scold them, but Ji Shen stopped him. "It's just a stain, I can wash it." One of the lackeys, the one with the mushroom haircut, grinned mischievously. He thought bullying someone like Ji Shen was going to be fun. Scene change. They planned to accidentally bump into Ji Shen, but when one of them did, he felt like he had hit a cement wall. Despite Ji Shen's fragile appearance, the lackey pretended to stay calm and shouted, "I'm hurt. You owe me for medical bills and emotional distress." Ji Shen silently handed him 5 bills. The lackey thought that would be the end of it. But instead he demanded Ji Shen call his family for more money. Han Min couldn't tolerate this extortion any longer. He unleashed a flurry of punches, leaving the mushroom-cut bully helpless. Then he warned the other lackey, "If you don't want the same, get lost." At that moment, the lackey recognized Han Min. Before transferring to this school, Han Min used to rank 3rd in combat strength at this school. But now that spot had been taken from him. The blonde bully sneered, "You're outdated, old man. Why don't you quit embarrassing yourself?" Sensing the situation worsening, Ji Shen stepped forward to intervene. But in the next second he took a direct punch from the blonde bully. The bully expected to knock him out with one hit, but Ji Shen only cried, without any sign of injury. Unconvinced, the blonde threw another full-force punch. Han Min flashed in front of Ji Shen to block it. He retaliated with a punch to the blonde's side. Although the blonde was forced to defend, the size and strength difference was too great. Han Min couldn't deal any serious damage. He was even caught by the throat, slammed repeatedly against the wall. The intense pain left Han Min struggling to get up. Just as the blonde prepared to crush his knee, Ji Shen jumped in and blocked it with his back. "If you want to hit someone, hit me. Just let us go after you're done." And so, Ji Shen became their punching bag, kicked back and forth. The bullies were having the time of their lives. But then, a shadow loomed behind them. The sight of it made the mushroom-cut bully break into a cold sweat. As the 2 bullies gleefully continued kicking Ji Shen, Kim Min-ae appeared, catching them in the act. He couldn't tolerate outsiders bullying one of his classmates. With a single punch he knocked out the mushroom-cut bully. Then he charged toward the blonde with a powerful punch. The blonde tried to block, but as their fists collided, his arm crumpled, bones shattering instantly. Kim Min-ae didn't let up. He delivered an elbow strike to the blonde's face. The blonde collapsed, completely incapacitated. Kim Min-ae clenched his fist again, gathering all his strength for one final blow. This punch would unleash everything he had. But in the next second Kim Min-ae froze. His punch hadn't landed on the blonde. Ji-shen had blocked it, with his face. "Sorry," Ji-shen said softly. "Your hand's not hurt, is it?" Kim Min-ae grabbed Ji-shen by the neck and demanded. "Who are you really? How did you block my strongest punch without a scratch?" Meanwhile elsewhere, Yang Jian was torturing the middle-parted bully, demanding answers about who attacked him. Just then the bald bully woke up and overheard everything. He immediately informed Yang Jian. It was the new kid with glasses from Kim Min-ae's class. The middle-parted bully panicked. How could he explain this to Ji-shen's powerful backers? Yang Jian recalled seeing the kid before, thinking he looked like nothing more than a scrawny weakling. Determined to uncover the truth, Yang Jian decided to confront him directly. Meanwhile back with Ji-shen, he was desperately trying to explain to Kim Min-ae. "I really am the weakest human alive." But Kim Min-ae thought he was pretending to be weak. "My fists don't lie," she muttered. She squeezed his arm, and to her surprise there was no muscle. Not even a callus on his hands. She stood there dumbfounded. Han Min watching nearby was equally confused. Suddenly, Ji-shen whispered, "I can't control my strength like normal people. If I ever go all out, anyone I hit would die. That's why my parents call me the weakest human. This doll is the key to sealing my power." Hearing this Kim Min-ae felt insulted. "That's the funniest thing I've heard all year." Just then, Yang Jian arrived, interrupting them. With a sudden leap, he landed with both knees, provoking them. As the dust settled, Yang Jian reached for the stunned Ji-shen. Han Min quickly flashed in to block him, throwing an uppercut to catch him off guard. But Yang Jian's reaction was absurdly fast. He bent backward at a 180-degree angle, effortlessly dodging Han Min's attack. Even from that extreme position, Yang Jian pulled off a perfect Thomas flare, flipping Han Min onto the ground. Kim Min-ae seized the moment, charging at Yang Jian with all her might. But with a mere glance back, using his combat experience, Yang Jian easily blocked the sudden attack. He taunted Kim Min-ae, "Try harder or I might get too close for comfort." This playful remark sent Kim Min-ae slipping backward, hitting her head on the ground. Yang Jian's true target was Ji-shen. He lunged forward asking, "Are you secretly a master fighter? If so, I'm really going to love this. We're going to be best friends from now on. But first I need to beat you up." Ji-shen stood there completely baffled. Before he could react, Yang Jian unleashed his signature, Thunderstorm double kick. "Enjoy your hospital stay for a few months." But then the air went still. Yang Jian's powerful attack didn't faze Ji-shen at all. Yang Jian stood awkwardly. His hands were now swollen and red. Frustrated, Ji-shen finally decided to act. With one punch he sent Yang Jian flying. Unfortunately he misjudged his strength, landing Yang Jian in the school infirmary for the day. When Yang Jian woke up, his attitude completely changed. "You beat me, friend. You're my boss now. Whatever you need, I'll do it." Ji-shen stammered nervously. I'm not qualified to be your boss. I can't even control my strength. I'm just a failure." Kim Min-ae overheard this and scoffed. "You're just pretending to be weak, aren't you? I really thought you were pathetic before. But even Yang Jian can't beat you?" Hearing this, everyone grew even more curious about Ji-shen's past. They speculated he must be the descendant of a martial arts master. Just then Han Min stepped in to stop the conversation. "Since we're all friends now, let's respect each other's privacy." After Ji-shen and his new friends left, the middle-parted bully rushed over to Yang Jian. "Boss, we've got trouble. That guy is as strong as you. And I heard the reason he's here is because of Kim Min-ae." Yet Yang Jian remained as calm as ever. After all, those guys were all defeated by Kim Min-ae. Little did he know, their plan was far more dangerous than he imagined. The 8th and 9th in the ranks were Yu Deneng and Shuai Jikin. 7th was Wang Taisheng. 6th was Li Hyangzhou. 5th was Ma Jiayi. 4th was Jin Muse. And 3rd was Jin Jinmyung, the blonde bully. Soon school ended for the day. Ji-shen received a call from his uncle, the bodyguard. He explained he had urgent matters to handle, and couldn't pick him up. The so-called urgent matters. Meanwhile, Ji-shen was in a tough spot. His allowance for the month had just been stolen by Jin Jinmyung. He didn't even have money for the bus fare home. Han Min overheard Ji-shen's complaints. As Ji-shen's bodyguard at school, Han Min reluctantly offered to cover the bus fare. But as they walked, Han Min suddenly spotted Kim Min-ae. Following closely behind her were the top-ranked bullies in the school. Han Min wanted to see what was going on, but Jin Mu's ranked 4th appeared behind her. After a brief exchange, Han Min realized what their plan was. They had all been part of the same martial arts club as Kim Min-ae. Kim Min-ae rarely attended training, but still managed to dominate every ranking match with ease. They suspected she was using performance-enhancing drugs. Otherwise, how could a girl gain so much muscle so quickly? However, blood tests proved that Kim Min-ae had used no banned substances. They began to believe she had powerful backers supporting her. This time they planned to work together to expose those behind her and ruin her reputation. But that wasn't all. Jin Muse also wanted to take Jishen. Han Min, realizing she was outmatched, decided their only option was to escape. Jishen run. Thereafter. Before Han Min could finish her sentence, a large hand suddenly wrapped around her neck. Meanwhile, on the other side, the school bullies had already started attacking Kim Min-ae. Unbeknownst to them, their ambush had been anticipated. With a chest throw, Kim Min-ae effortlessly countered Li Hyangjo's sneak attack. She followed up with a powerful strike to Wang Taisheng, but the others abandoned all honor and rushed her together. Among them, Ma Jiaoyi brandished a knife, but he knew full well that no blade could harm Kim Min-ae. In the chaos of the group assault, Kim Min-ae's stamina was beginning to wane. That's when Kong Yongwan, the mastermind of the ambush, emerged with a bat. Without a word, he struck Kim Min-ae in the back of the head. Ma Jiaoyi, alarmed, tried to stop him. "If you keep hitting her like that, she'll die." Kong Yongwan ignored him entirely. This was his true objective all along. He raised the bat ready to strike with all his might. But just as the bat was about to connect, it bent and deformed, rebounding off. Jishen had blocked the fatal blow for Kim Min-ae. Kong Yongwan immediately recognized Jishen. He was the one Deli had paid a high price to have beaten up. No matter how he looked, Jishen still seemed like a weakling. Then Kong Yongwan snatched Jishen's doll. Han Min tried to intervene, but in the next second Kong Yongwan crushed the doll into pieces.